Watch that again, closely. Do you see how the level of the cement mixture sinks? The casket has collapsed from the weight, and Shirk is buried below.
Shirk himself is now buried under all of this debris. He is stuck and trapped under there.
The godfather of all escape artists, Harry Houdini, tried his own version of the buried alive trick in 1915 and barely survived. He successfully performed a similar stunt where he sealed himself in a casket for more than an hour, at least 3 times above ground or while submerged in water, but never again while actually buried. And other escape artists haven't been so fortunate.
This trick was attempted 2 years prior by another magician, going by the amazing Joe Burris. He was lowered into a 6-foot grave, and dirt and cement was poured on top. But unfortunately, the plexiglass casket malfunctioned, and he was not able to escape.
Once it is in the ground, your standard coffin will be covered with about 65 cubic feet of dirt. With dirt weighing about 40 pounds per cubic foot, the total load on top of the casket would be more than 2,500 pounds. And that's not even factoring that in this case, we're talking about cement. So how did the stunt go so wrong? And did Bill Shirk manage to survive?
First, how was this stunt supposed to work? Well, some of the mishaps were actually anticipated.
From what I read about this particular stunt, they expected the casket to collapse. I'm not sure if they expected it to happen this soon, but what I do know is that apparently there was a cavity to the side of his casket. His task was to escape his bindings, to get out of the coffin and get himself into that cavity so that when the coffin collapsed, he had a little bit of space, which would give his team time to get to him.
Still, even if the collapse wasn't completely unexpected, Shapiro says this is as dangerous as a mountain climber being buried in an avalanche.
After 30 minutes, the amount of carbon dioxide in that small space would probably build to a point at which you're hypercapnic, meaning you have a lot of CO2 in your blood. Eventually, you become hypoxic, and the amount of oxygen in your blood is decreased to the point at which your functionality starts to decrease. And then you're really in trouble.
And apart from a lack of oxygen, there are other dangers Shirk had to face, because they were literally in his face.
This right there takes my breath away. You could see the casket collapses and the little bit of air he had with him rises up through the cement. It would be very hard to take breaths without introducing dirt into your airway.
The good news, we were able to ask Bill himself how it all played out. He says 40 seconds after the casket collapsed due to the weight of the cement pressing on the flimsy plexiglass coffin, a backhoe rushed in to scoop out the tons of sopping cement.
They dug down to the level of where the grave was, and I wasn't there. When I said, help, help, you know, help me, I'm dying.
Finally, nearly half an hour after Bill was last seen alive, just as the risk of hypoxia is getting serious, a son.
And so I then just thrust up with every ounce of strength I had. The hand came up, they grabbed it, and pulled me up.
So in the end, how did he do it?
There was a trap door on the bottom of the casket through which he was able to escape and crawl into a very small cove. In that cove, he had a bucket-sized area of air, which he was breathing very slowly in order to survive until the backhoe was able to dig him out.
Shirk says he had nearly 40 minutes of oxygen, and where others may have panicked, he practiced the 3 C's, staying calm, cool, and collected.
I have, in my life, done a lot of underwater stunts where I've held my breath, where I've held my control on how much you breathe, and I believed in my own mind that the backhoe would reach me.
The takeaway? Proper preparation and the positive power of negative thinking saved Shirk. Shirk knew the casket could collapse all along and devised a clever plan for survival. Shirk has since retired, and he is now enjoying his golden years that many thought he would never see. Some people